mistakes, we have happy accidents.
All right, listen up, friends. Who says that racing games can't combine arcadey controls with an approach of realistic driving? Or that racing always has to be fast-paced and firing up our adrenaline? Well, game developer and today's NitroNights guest, Dune Kazoo, aka Funselektor, has proven the opposite twice already. But first, quick reminder for you guys to subscribe to our channel. And if you like what you see, make sure to also hit that like button. In July 2015, the Canadian published his top-down racing game, Absolute Drift, created all by himself. The game lets you drive and solve many different tracks, chasing high scores by drifting through pylons and corners, doing donuts on marked areas, or performing some ridiculous leaps. His newest game, Art of Rally, is certainly already known by many of you, but the development story behind it makes it even more impressive. That's why we want to find out how to create an indie racing game completely on your own.
With its minimalistic but very structured graphics style, on-point controls and easy-to-learn but hard-to-master gameplay, Absolute Drift provides a flow which is unique in the world of racing games. This is backed up with fun and exciting electronic music. The addictive gameplay is more about bringing over the feeling of drifting than proper driving physics. But this has changed with Funselektor's second game. Art of Rally comes again in a kind of top-down perspective with a minimalistic yet much more colourful style. The game takes us on a journey through time, from the origins of rally driving in Finland to modern competitions. In career mode, we can work our way through these eras step by step. In between, we get to know about that specific era. Tracks are located in different countries, with each one having its own distinctive look. Beyond that, we can enter free roam mode to explore nature and search for collectibles to unlock new tracks or even cars. With Art of Rally, Dune Kazoo created a game with a story of how it came about that's almost as fascinating as the game itself. He drove around North America in his camper van, which he kitted out as a development office. Apart from some stops along the way, most of the game originated from his work in there. You can literally feel his journey's influences everywhere in the game. It develops a similar flow to Absolute Drift and celebrates nature with its site collectibles, for example. You can even find and unlock Kazoo's van in the game. Despite the style, the physics are surprisingly detailed and demand precise use of the brake and gas pedals. Kazoo's love of rally and drifting can be felt down to the smallest detail. If you've seen Fast and the Furious Tokyo Drift and always wanted to know how it feels to drift through a mass of people, it's all here. Art of Rally is a love letter to the sport, a piece of art itself. If you're not completely averse to rallying or simply need a break from the world, give it a look.
What an absolutely beautiful game Art of Rally is. And even PlayStation players will soon be able to enjoy it to the fullest, as the game was announced for PS4 and PS5 just a few days ago. But now let's talk about how you come up with that crazy idea of driving through the wilderness in a camper van and developing a racing game, namely with a man who did exactly that. Welcome, Dune Kazoo.
Oh, hi, Steffi. Thanks so much for having me on the show.
Dune, let's start from the very beginning. When did you decide to develop racing games, and what led you to do this?
It's kind of a long story. It was basically when I was in my last year of game programming school in Vancouver. We made a little game over the Global Game Jam, which is where you make a game over 48 hours. So I basically made a little, pretty bad racing prototype. And then that's where it all started. And I just made it into my final project, then made a demo afterwards.
Yeah.
And then just asked my parents if I could just make it into a full game. And I wasn't able to find a job, so it worked out pretty well.
So apparently, at one point, you decided to move your life into a camper van, and in this van, you also developed Art of Rally. How long did you actually work in this van, and how did your everyday life look like?
It must have been around 2.5 to 3 years, like cumulatively in the van. The reason for actually going in the van was basically real estate in Vancouver is extremely expensive, and I did want to have a place, so I figured I'll just say like screw it, I'll just get a van, um, figure it out. So like built it into like a little mobile development studio with, but also a camper van. It's like a bed, kitchen, fridge, and has power for like a monitor and a computer and stuff.
If you look at Art of Rally, you can definitely see that there is some inspiration from your journey. But how much did your journey actually influence the game?
I think just spending a lot of time outside and looking at how the different lighting and environments, it kind of hopefully related into the game. Like I'm still was only trained as a programmer and kind of learning my way how to actually light things and do things properly. So it might not be like the totally correct way, but kind of a stylized way.
Oh man, that sounds crazy too. Is there any special moment that you will never forget during this ride?
Well, I guess at one point there was this big mountain bike race in Mexico in 1 month that I just signed up for randomly and then left a few days after. So I was trying to get down to Oaxaca, which is in mid Mexico, and just had never been. I've been to Mexico a couple times actually on my bike, but driving was a different story. So went down to Baja and then had to take a ferry,
Yeah.
and there's a big hurricane. So it just stopped all the ferries and was like destroying a lot of land and towns there.
Yeah. So probably some viewers are now saying to themselves, okay, yeah, I can do that too, but is it really that easy to develop a game on your own, or what would be your advice to these people?
Let me see. I guess a lot of it is the scope. It's almost like a Venn diagram of like your budget, your time, and your skills, and if you can find any collaborators. But in general, like if it's easier to make a small game, but it's way harder to make a large game. But just to keep it extremely simple, like you can games barely get finished with like higher scope, higher like complexity. So like just finishing even a small game is a feat.
Yeah, and I think just having a vision and this passion, I think that's a good base too, right?
For sure, yeah, the vision, like maybe it's always like I've always been a bit selfish just to know what I want to do and not really change it if people
Yeah.
ask, unless it's logically aligned with vision.
Yeah, that's true. When we ask our community what aspects would be the most important to them if they would develop a racing game, a lot of people mention mod support. How important is that topic to you?
So mod support is actually a kind of new thing that we've been playing with. So we did add mod support for custom car liveries in Art of Rally.
Mm-hmm.
And it is something I wish I did with the first game, which was Absolute Drift, like a top-down drifting game. But yeah, basically mod support I've just learned is extremely important. Like we, as like say designers on a team, we can make like let's say 50 levels for a game, and that'll take us like a year or 2 years. But if you give the tools to the players, it's
Yeah.
exponentially more. And also, if they're really passionate about it, they can work on it for many years.
In a previous interview with us, which is really cool, by the way, you already hinted out that you will be soon setting off on the road again with your camper van. What can we look forward to?
I hope so. Like this whole pandemic is throwing a wrench in things. But right now we're working on the console ports and versions of Art of Rally. So it's just a huge like task to support it and like make sure it's done right
Yeah.
with our porting company. But yeah, hopefully after that we can breathe.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
just been nonstop since the game released. Haven't been able to relax that much.
yeah. And relaxing time is so important, right?
For sure.
Yeah, it is. Dune, thank you so much for taking your time. Your story is truly inspiring, and I really love talking to you. We're already looking forward to your next project. Is there anything you want to share with us or say hi to anyone? Now it's your time to shine.
Well, thanks for hearing me out, Steffi. Sound like a crazy game developer. But yeah, hello everyone. Thanks for supporting all our games. The first one, Absolute Fit, and the second one, Art of Rally. We are working on more content updates with the new Kenya one launching this summer with the consoles, and also a couple others that are not announced yet, but you'll hear about it pretty soon.
That's it already for today's NitroNights show. As always, I really hope you enjoyed watching. If you have any feedback, just let us know in the comments below. And if you would like to read the full feature about Dune Kazoo's story on overtake.gg, find a link in the video description. We've also added his social channels for you, so you won't miss out on his next journeys. We see each other again next week already. Until then, stay safe and buckle up. Thank you so much for watching today's episode. If you missed out the last one, you can watch it right here. We've talked about realism in MotoGP 21 with Milestone's official game design manager, Andrea Basilio. Or check out our latest Overtake video right here about which racing sim has the best online multiplayer. Everything based on the opinion of you, the community. Enjoy watching and see you next time.